Hello, I'm Lucinda and I'm one of the regional managers at Railway Children. We don't have a set prescribed programme at Railway Children, but what we do is we try to offer a bespoke plan to each young person on issues that are relevant and matter to them. So that can be for a range of different things. We often work with young people around their mental health, and that can just be emotional support, or it could be understanding a diagnosis, doing safety plans for self-harm or suicidal ideation, supporting them to engage in therapy that's also being offered to them at that time, trying to improve emotional well-being and helping to raise self-esteem. In some cases, we're looking to help to heal family relationships, which could be improving communication between young people and their parents or carers, helping them to understand each other better, their points of views or boundaries or values, just generally supporting them to better communicate their needs to each other. We will work with young people around antisocial or potentially offending behaviour, and we could do that by looking at their attitude towards certain behaviour, peer influences, constructive use of their time, consequential thinking, maybe working around future aspirations. We work with lots of young people around their personal safety in the community and whilst on the network, and that also can include them having a better understanding of what exploitation is and whether they are either at risk of that or have been a victim of exploitation. We look at engagement in education, so we will advocate for young people to their education provider. We might support them in meetings or spend time with them in school and try to find ways to help to re-engage them in their education. We will always work alongside other people involved in a young person's life. So that might be their parent or carer, it could be the care home, it could be a social worker, an early help worker, a CAMS worker, their school, another charity or youth worker mentor that's working with them. We try to ensure that there's a shared plan on how we're going to support that young person and find ways to complement each other's work without duplicating effort.
Youth Practitioner from the Yorkshire and Humber team at Railway Children. I've been working with Railway Children now for approximately 3 years, and prior to that had been working with children and young people for around 15 years in various different settings, including other charities and secondary schools. The young person that I've been working with, I will call her Nadia. Nadia I've been working with for the best part of 2 years now. And Nadia came to our attention because she was in crisis, so there was presentations on the rail network, both bridges over rail tracks, going onto rail tracks, and bridges over motorways and bridges over water as well. So that was their sort of identified place really. They did have a plan to end their life. They were very clear about that plan, so it was a really kind of high risk, complex case. There were no other service involvement at that time. That young person and I met, and there was kind of concerns raised around where they were, that kind of continued low mood, the suicidal ideation. They weren't always self-harming, but what they would do was kind of what might be described as risky behaviour. So they'd enjoy climbing to a height, they would kind of go out walking for quite long distances and end up somewhere that was unknown to them. Now with Nadia, what was really nice kind of throughout our journey was I was able to kind of build a relationship with her father and encourage their kind of communication together. Father wasn't always understanding of the reasons why Nadia might leave the home and kind of abscond from his care and go to the rail. She wanted to be able to kind of communicate her feelings towards Dad and be understood. lots of different conversations happened. So an ADHD assessment happened as part of that kind of unpicking of the risks and kind of the impulsive behaviours. There was different referrals into CAMS and mental health services, but what we were able to do kind of throughout that 2 years was think about future aspirations. So having in mind that, you know, I'm coming to see you next week, even as a starting point, I'm coming to see you next week, really nice to see you, and kind of forward planning and getting her to think about, well, if I'm at college and Laura's coming to see me, that's a step forward. Baby steps really, in terms of how we did that. One of the things that Nadia had expressed was that she wanted to join the police, and obviously had quite a negative experience with police in terms of it was a police who turned up when she was in mental health crisis, but she also recognised that they were there in a supportive and safeguarding role. So she was really keen to join the police and kind of give back, in her words. So she's now in a much better place. There's adult services now involved in her care. Nadia had shared with me that she wanted to join the police, and we went to a police open day for recruitment of police special constables. Nadia went along to that open evening with myself. She engaged with different people. She was asking questions. She kind of really worked the room, if you like, because that confidence was there. After that, she sort of made her application. She went through the process. I met with her the afternoon after her interview. We kind of celebrated and reflected on that. She got a call to say that, yeah, absolutely, we want you, here's your vetting sort of information. She was really open with them about her kind of mental health difficulties, and they were quite supportive with how they would manage that. And that young person is now going to be joining the police in October of this year, not only as a special constable with a different force now. They've made the decision to apply to be a police constable and have been successful in obtaining that. So some really positive outcomes, and you know, because of funding of this work, we are able to build that relationship and really get into kind of, you know, what makes that young person tick, what is it they like, what are the other services offering them at that time, how can we kind of support and advocate for that young person. You know, without our funders, we wouldn't be able to do such intensive, such rewarding, paramount, absolute important work with that young person at their pace. It just wouldn't happen.